320-FH, People versus Randy Torres. These were set for hearings on probation violations this morning, and we are proceeding today by video conference. Mr. Glazier, would you like to place your appearance on the record?
Yeah, John Glazier on behalf of Randy Torres. And I'd waive his presence here today. He has a he's got one new felony file and I think a couple of misdemeanors. And I'm going to handle the felony file on 12/27. I've talked with Mr. Hartung. It's my intent to waive that on the 27th. I think we have a plea agreement worked out on this, including the VOPs. And so we'd ask to adjourn this till January 10th. That's when he'll come up for arraignment on the new felony file.
Okay. I will then adjourn it to January 10th at 8:15 a.m.
All right. Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay. And Mr. Amadeo, are you ready to proceed with Mr. Davis?
I am, Your Honor. Thank you.
Okay. Give me just a second here. Okay, we are on the record in file 23-21590-FH, People versus Michael Jason Davis. We are here today for a pretrial hearing in this case. We are proceeding today by video conference. First, let me ask the attorneys to place their appearance on the record, beginning with Mr. Bayanetto.
Alex Bayanetto for the people.
Good morning, Your Honor. William Amadeo, P76194 for Mr. Davis. We both appear via Zoom. Thank you for that, and we consent to such. Mike, please state your name so the prosecutor, judge, and his staff know you're here.
Michael Jason Davis.
All right, and Mr. Amadeo, where do we stand with Mr. Davis's case today?
Your Honor, I had a discussion with the people yesterday. I think this case could potentially get resolved. I'd like some time to do a Cobb's memo if that's acceptable. Could we adjourn this 30 days maybe, and I could get something over to your court for review?
Okay, Mr. Bayanetto, you have any issue with that?
No, Your Honor.
So 30 days, we're looking at end of January. How about January 24th at 8:15?
Sounds good. Thank you, Judge.
Sir Amadeo, would you do a stipulation in order for that adjournment, please?
I'll get that over. Have a good holiday. Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you very much. Mr. Davis, you can go ahead and log out.
All right, thank you.
All right, I have a device logged in from the jail. The camera is not on and the microphone is off. If there's someone in that room, can you please get the attention of an officer and have them turn the video on? Okay. All right, the person at the jail, are you Mr. White Eagle?
Sure. Yes.
All right, Mr. White Eagle, can you hear me all right?
I hear you.
I'm going to put you in a breakout session with your attorney, okay? Yes. All right, Mr. Fry, if you're ready with Mr. McNett, we can. Mr. Fry?
Yes, Your
If
Honor.
you're ready with Mr. McNett, we can proceed with that one. Okay, we are on the record in file 23-21548-FH, People versus Jaren McNett. We are here today for a pretrial conference. In this case, we are proceeding today by video conference. First, let me ask the attorneys to place their appearances on the record, beginning with Ms. McClure.
B.B. McClure on behalf of the people, filling in for prosecutor of record, Isaac Sneed.
Good morning, Your Honor. Brian Fry appearing for the defendant, Jaren McNett.
All right, and Mr. Fry, where do we stand with Mr. McNett's case today?
Yes, I have spoken with Prosecutor Sneed, who has conveyed a plea offer, which I've spoken about that with my client, and it's my understanding my wishes to accept that plea offer, where count 1 would be dismissed. My client would plead guilty to count 2, which is furnishing contraband to prisoners in jail. And there's a sentencing agreement to no upfront jail.
Okay, Ms. McClure, is that a complete and accurate statement of the plea agreement?
That is my understanding of the plea agreement, yes.
Okay, Mr. McNett, would you raise your right hand, please? Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth under penalty of perjury?
Yes, sir.
And you are Jaren Wayne McNett?
Yes, I'm Jaren McNett.
Jaren McNett, all right. Mr. McNett, you've heard the statement of your attorney and the prosecuting attorney. Is it your intention to plead guilty today to count 2, furnishing contraband to prisoners?
Yes, sir.
Are you satisfied with Mr. Fry and the advice that he's given you?
Yes, sir.
Do you understand that the maximum penalty for that offense is up to 5 years in prison?
Yes, sir.
Neither the prosecutor, defendant, or anyone acting on the defendant's behalf has discussed a possible sentence with the court other than as we've discussed it on the record here this morning. Is that correct, Ms. McClure?
That's correct.
Mr. Fry?
Yes, that's correct, Your Honor.
Is that also your understanding, Mr. McNett?
Yes, sir.
If a guilty plea is accepted, there'll be no trial. That means you'll be giving up the rights that you would have had at trial. I'm going to explain those rights to you now to make sure that you understand them. You do have the right to a speedy public trial by jury. You could ask for a non-jury trial, and if the prosecutor and the court agreed, you could have a non-jury trial. You have the right to be presumed innocent until proven guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. You have the right to have the prosecuting attorney prove beyond a reasonable doubt that you were guilty, and you do not have to prove anything. You have the right to be present at your trial, to have the witnesses against you appear at your trial, and to ask those witnesses questions. You have the right to have the court order any witnesses that you have for your defense to appear at your trial. You have the right to remain silent during your trial and not have that silence used against you. However, you also have the right to testify if you wanted to testify. You understand, Mr. McNett, that if your plea is accepted, you may be giving up the right to appeal issues that would otherwise be appealable if you were convicted at a trial.
Yes, sir.
You also understand that any appeal from the conviction and sentence pursuant to your plea would be by application for leave to appeal and not by right. If you are not a citizen of the United States of America, conviction of a crime can result in deportation, exclusion from admission to the United States of America, or denial of naturalization. Do you understand all of the rights that I've described to you?
Yes, sir.
Do you understand that you're giving those rights up?
Yes, sir.
How do you wish to plead to the charge that on or about June 11, 2023 in the city of Adrian, county of Lenawee, that you did commit the offense of furnishing contraband to prisoners?
Guilty, sir.
Has anyone made any threats or promises to you to induce you to plead guilty?
No, sir.
Has anyone threatened you in any way in order to get you to plead guilty?
No, sir.
Do you understand that if I accept your plea, you're giving up any and all claims that your plea was given as a result of threats or promises that were not disclosed to the court on the record this morning?
Yes, sir.
Is the prosecutor or defense counsel aware of any promises, threats, or inducements other than this plea bargain to induce Mr. McNett to plead?
None, Your Honor.
No, Your Honor.
Mr. McNett, has your attorney promised you any particular sentence or estimated what your sentence would be other than as we've discussed on the record here today?
No, sir.
Is it your own choice to plead guilty?
Yes, sir.
All right, Mr. Fry, do you wish to establish the factual basis?
I can do that, Your Honor. How you doing today, Jaren?
Do not.
So on or about June 11th, 2023, were you arrested and taken to the Lenawee County Jail?
Yes.
And is that jail in the city of Adrian, county of Lenawee, state of Michigan?
Yes. This is.
Okay. And when you were taken into the jail, did you bring methamphetamine with you?
Yes.
Okay. And did you take that methamphetamine inside the jail?
Yes. Yeah. I panicked when I got pulled over, and I just shoved it in the only place I could think of. And then so it wasn't really my intent to bring it in there, you know, like I didn't know I was going to jail that day.
But you knew you had it on you?
Yes.
You took it into the jail?
Yes.
Okay. And you knew you aren't allowed to take methamphetamine into
Yes.
jails? Okay. I have nothing further on.
All right, Ms. McClure,
Satisfied, Judge.
has the court complied with MCR 6.302 B, C, and D, Ms. McClure?
It has.
Mr. Fry?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, I will accept the plea then. It's been given understandably, voluntarily, and accurately. Mr. McNett's had full knowledge of his rights and he has had counsel. Other than as has been discussed on the record this morning, the court's not made any agreement regarding possible plea or sentence in this case with prosecutor, defense attorney, defendant, or anyone acting on the defendant's behalf. I will refer this matter to the probation department and for pre-sentence investigation and set sentencing for January 25th at 8:15 a.m.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Mr. McNett, someone from the probation department is to be in touch with you to do a pre-sentence investigation interview. When you do that interview, please be truthful about this offense and about your background. Mr. Stevenson, Mr. McNett is here in person in the courtroom. Do you want him to step across the hall to the probation department to get his information?
Yes, that'll work.
Okay. So, Mr. McNett, if you just step across the hall to the probation department, they will get your contact information and I think have some forms for you to take with you and fill out.
Okay.
Okay, you're all set for today.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay, Mr. Glazer, are you ready to proceed with Mr. White Eagle?
Yes, I am, Your Honor.
Okay, we are on the record then in file 23-21644-FH, People versus John F. Kennedy White Eagle. We are here today for an arraignment in this case, and we are proceeding today by video conference. First, let me ask the attorneys to place their appearances on the record, beginning with Ms. McClure.
E.B. McClure on behalf of the people.
John Glazer on behalf of Mr. White Eagle.
All right, and we're here for an arraignment today. So, Mr. Glazer, does Mr. White Eagle wish to have the information read?
Now, Your Honor, we waive the reading of that, acknowledge receipt of that, as well as the attached witness list, prosecutor's request for discovery. This time, my client will enter a plea of not guilty and ask the matter to be set for a pretrial, I guess.
Okay, I'll enter a not guilty plea for Mr. White Eagle and set a pretrial conference for about January 17th at 8:15.
That'll work, Your Honor. January 17th at 8:15.
Yeah. All right, anything else we need to address with this case today?
No, Your Honor.
No, thank you.
All right, bond will be continued, then we'll be back on January 17th. So Whitey, you can let the officer that's with you know that you're done with court for today. Okay, you can call for Silvertooth. Okay, Mr. Sala, are you ready to proceed with Mr. Highland?
I am, Your Honor. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, I'm just waiting for Mr. Highland to get his audio connected.
While we're waiting, Your Honor, there was another issue Mr. McCready and I discussed on the Bishop case.
I don't think that's
You
on
don't
the
have
docket.
that file. Yeah, you don't have that file for today, but there's some evidence in that case. It's scheduled for trial in February, but there's some evidence that Mr. McCready nor I have at this point. So we're asking that it be adjourned out to a new date, and we'll contact the court for that new date with a written stip if that's okay.
I mean, I don't have the file. I don't have any information on that case in front of me. So I'm really hesitant to make any kind of decision right now as I sit here.
Okay.
Totally
Understand. There we go.
All right. It looks like Mr. Highland just got his audio connected. So Mr. Highland, can you hear me?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. This is file 23-21536-FH People versus Matthew Lee Highland. We are here today for a pretrial conference in this case, and we are proceeding today by video conference. First, let me ask the attorneys to place their appearances on the record, beginning with Mr. McCready.
Good morning, Your Honor. Dave McCready for the people.
Good morning, Your Honor. Stan Sal on behalf of Matt Highland.
Okay, and so Mr. Sala, where do we stand with Mr. Highland's case today?
At this point in time, we're asking that the court, I think, set it for another pretrial. We're still negotiating for potential plea agreement. So another pretrial, I think, would be appropriate at this point. And at that point, we can decide whether we're going to go to trial or not, but we're still discussing potential resolution.
Mr. McCready, is there anything we need to address from people's side?
No, Your Honor. I'm fine with another pretrial, and I do hope to work this out.
All right, how far out did you want to look for another pretrial date?
Probably late January, early February, maybe.
Sounds good.
How about January 31st at 8:15?
Sounds people.
I'll probably, how about in February?
February 7th?
Yes.
Also fine.
Okay, so February 7th at 8:15 a.m. Mr. Sol, you prepare that stipulation in order, please.
I will. Thank you.
Okay. All right, anything else we need to address with this case today?
No, Your Honor.
No, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Saul, if you want to have your office send an email on that other case and just let me know what it is so I can review the ROA real quick. We can get in touch with you and make a decision.
Thank you. I appreciate that, Your Honor.
All right. Okay, so Mr. Highland, you're all set. You can go ahead and log out.
Okay, thank you, Your Honor.
Mr. Glazer, do you need a breakout session with Mr. Silvertooth? You are muted, Mr. Glazer.
Is the co-defendants pretrial the same time right today?
I don't think I have the ability to do that because they're both at the jail. So I've only got one jail room, so I can't do them at the same time.
Yeah, let me talk to Mr. Silvertooth just for a minute, Your Honor.
Okay, Ms. Hennigan, I have Mr. Kennedy here by Zoom. Are you ready to proceed with him?
Thank you, Your Honor. I am chatting with him right now, and Ms. McClure just sent me over an updated information that I didn't have, so I need to review that real quick, and then I believe he'll be entering a plea.
Okay, so you need some more time, is that what?
Yes, sorry, about 5 more minutes.
Okay, just send me a chat message whenever you're ready.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay, Ms. Underwood, I have Traine Jones here. Do you need a breakout session with Mr. Jones?
Yes, just very briefly, Your Honor.
All right, I'm bringing him into the meeting. As soon as he gets his audio connected, I will put you in that breakout session. All right, Mr. Jones, are you able to hear me?
Yes, I am, Your Honor.
Okay, I'm going to put you in a breakout session with your attorney.
Okay.
Okay, Mr. Glazer, are you ready to proceed with Mr. Silvertooth?
Yes, Your Honor.
We were on the record
Judge,
then. Yeah.
we have to call Silvertooth and Winstead at the same time. They're consolidated.
All right. I don't know if I can. I've only got one jail room. I'll call the jail and see if we can get a second one, but I don't know if that's possible for me to do right now.
Okay. Say unless we waive one of their appearances, but I don't know if they're willing to do that.
That's not.
I'll waive my appearance, Your Honor. We're just looking for a trial date for Winstead and Silvertooth. I don't need Winstead. Oh.
Okay, I guess. Fine. All right, if Mr. Daly's willing to waive Mr. Winstead's appearance, then we can do both of those right now. So.
Thank you.
On the record then in file 23-21612-FC, People versus Kenyatta Tywayne Silvertooth. Also file 23-21613-FH, People versus Gage Michael Winstead. We are here today for pretrial conferences in both of those cases. We are proceeding today by video conference. First, let me ask the attorneys to place their appearance on the record, beginning with Ms. McClure.
P.B. McClure on behalf of the people.
John Glazer on behalf of Mr. Silvertooth.
James Daly on behalf of defendant Winstead.
Okay, and Mr. Glazer, where do we stand with Mr. Silvertooth's case today?
Your Honor, when we did the arraignment, we thought you were gonna put the pretrial out farther, but you said it at the same time as the co-defendant. We still need to get the transcript. My client wants to file a motion to quash, and we need the transcript for that. Also, I did not do the preliminary exam, and before I can do a trial, I need to review the preliminary exam transcript. So at this time, we'd ask it to go out until we can get the transcript and have another pretrial.
All right, Mr. Daly, anything that you need to add with respect to Mr. Winstead?
Just that we just need a trial date, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Glazier, do you know whether the transcript has been ordered yet?
I thought you had did that, but let me see. Court orders transcript. I wrote that on 11/29.
We did order that at the arraignment. But this preliminary exam took place over, I think, 4 different dates. So it might take a while for them to get that transcript to us.
All right, I just want to make sure it's been ordered so that it's in process.
Yeah, my notes in my file say it was ordered on the 29th. The arraignment was on, yeah, that was the date of the arraignment. I just have a note that says court orders transcript.
On November 29th, it was ordered?
That's what my note says.
Okay.
I don't know what happened.
All right, so let's set this then for a pretrial on January 31st at 8:15 a.m.
Judge, I think it's going to take longer than that to get the transcript. Can we get a pretrial date in February just so we could potentially set both a hearing date or a trial date at that time? Because I think if we just do January 31st, we're going to be in the same position we are today.
So my concern at the moment is that Mr. Daly's asked for a trial date today. And
I understand. I just know that because they're
adding 60 days before we would look at setting another trial date. So I think I'm more inclined just to set a trial date today so that we can have one, understanding that it's going to be in the future and that Mr. Glazier needs time to acquire the preliminary exam transcript and file whatever motion he may need to file in response to that. But I'm hesitant at this point to wait for all of that to be accomplished before setting a trial date, because then we're looking at some point, probably 6 months or more into the future. So how long, how many days, Ms. McClure, do you think you will need for trial?
probably 2 weeks, Judge.
Mr. Glazier, Mr. Daly, do you have a sense of whether that's an adequate amount of time?
I have no sense, Your Honor. I didn't do the exam. Mr. Daly
It's
would
another
have
reason why I think it's a good idea to have a pretrial before we set a trial. I understand Mr. Winstead is asking for his trial date, but they are consolidated, and he's obviously just has to wait for his co-defendant to be ready for the trial as well.
Well, I don't think Mr. Winstead has to wait for a co-defendant. He wants his trial within 180 days.
Judge, 180-day rules for those involved in Michigan corrections, and he does have to wait for his co-defendant because the cases are consolidated as of right now.
Just because they're consolidated doesn't mean they have to stay like that.
Well, at this point, they are.
All right, with the understanding that getting a 2-week trial date, we're already looking at probably at least May. I think that is adequate time for everyone to accomplish what needs to be accomplished before a trial date. And I just am not comfortable waiting 45 days or so to set that date, because if we do, that's just another amount of time that the trial date is going to be pushed off. And while I understand that the 180-day rule might not apply, we do still have speedy trial requirements that we do need to comply with. And I'm going to make every effort I can make to comply with that, given the fact that Mr. Winstead is requesting his trial. So Ms. Clark, can you find us, we're going to need 2 weeks of trial time.
I have Tuesday, April 16th to Monday, April 29th.
I have another trial set right in the middle of that in Judge Anzalone's.
So that week of the 22nd.
I do, yeah.
Okay. Okay, so Ms. Clark, what would be our next opportunity after, if we go past the week of April 22nd?
Okay, Tuesday, May 14th to Tuesday, May 28th. Or you could use that Monday, the 13th to.
I think that's fine. But the court is closed May 27th, but if we just work around that date, that probably is fine.
If you end up using May 13th, then to May 24th.
I'd rather not use May 13th. I don't want to give up too many Mondays. So I'm sorry, that was the 14th through the 28th, but we don't have the 27th, so we'd have to add a day to the 29th.
So the 29th, yeah, that Wednesday.
Okay. So May 14th through the 29th.
So can we keep that pretrial then on January 31st, just so we have a pretrial before then?
Yeah, if you want to set another pretrial or any number of pretrials between now and then, okay. I have no issue with that.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Daly, Mr. Glazier, those dates work?
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes, Your Honor.
So we do April 24th as the final pretrial?
Okay, so we can do April 24th as the final pretrial, yeah, and trial dates May 14th through the 29th. And then if you want another pretrial date sometime in February or whatever makes sense, given when you think you're going to have the preliminary exam transcript.
I'm getting mixed up here, Your Honor. Do we still have a pretrial on January 31st?
Do you want it on the 31st or do you want it later than that to make sure that you have the transcript?
It can be later. I'm trying to write down these dates and I've got January 1st and now I got April 24th. I don't know. Have you set 2 pretrials or is there, I guess I'm.
All right. So let's do this. So cross off January 31st.
Okay.
We're going to go with February 14th for a pretrial date.
Okay.
And then we're going to do April 24th as a final pretrial.
April 24th.
Correct.
Okay.
And then trial May 14, 29.
Got that. All right. I'm all up to date here then.
Okay. The court will issue a scheduling order that has those dates in it.
And Mr. Silvertooth, I will Zoom with you next week. We'll set up a time.
Is there anything else we need to address with this case today?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Daly, anything we need to address for your case? You were muted, Mr. Daly. I was not able to hear you.
No, Your Honor.
All right. Mr. Silvertooth, then you can let the officer that's with you know that you are done with court for today. Call for Gregory Roack. Okay, Mr. Daly, we're calling for Mr. Roack at the jail right now. Ms. Underwood, are you ready to proceed with Mr. Jones?
Yes, Your Honor. Thank you.
Could we have everyone?
Okay, we are on the record in file 16-18070-FH, People versus Traine Jody Jones. We are here today for a hearing on a contempt court for failure to appear at sentencing, and also we need to set a sentencing date. So first, let me ask Ms. Underwood to place your appearance on the record.
Ron Underwood for Mr. Jones this morning, Your Honor.
Okay, where do we stand with Mr. Jones' case today?
Your Honor, the absconding charge on this issue is still in district court. So we are going to ask that this matter be adjourned till after February 2nd, when that charge is scheduled to go to exam, Your Honor.
Okay, I'm sorry, what date did you say the exam was?
February 2nd.
I can't hear anything.
We'll set that, sorry, I was just speaking with my assistant or the court recorder about the right date. If your exam is on February 2nd, if it were bound over, it would be up here on February 7th. So I'll set it for February 7th at 8:15 a.m.
Are you sure it wouldn't be the following week, Your Honor?
Not absolutely, but I'm making my best guess. So we're going to go with February 7th.
All right. Thank you, Your Honor. Your Honor, may I be
What about the tether?
briefly on the issue of Mr. Jones's tether, Your Honor? Mr. Jones, I think the most important thing in this whole matter is getting Mr. Jones child support paid. He's out, he's working, he's trying to do that, Your Honor, but he's paying for a tether every week that is just killing his ability to do both things. I think Mr. Jones has learned his lesson, Your Honor, about showing up for court. And it's my belief that he understands that the last thing he wants is for the Attorney General's office to walk another absconding charge into the courthouse. So we would ask if the court would consider removing the tether provision, Your Honor.
I tried to give different jobs before. They won't hire me because of the tether.
All right, so this is a case where Mr. Jones didn't appear back in 2017. He wasn't arrested on the warrant until November of this year, 2023. I can't, in good conscience, based on that information, say that just a PR bond to, rely on him alone to come back to court is enough for me right now, given the history of this case. And the,
Thank you, Your Honor.
almost 6 years that he was not in contact with court. So I'm going to deny the request.
I still was paying on my child support, Your Honor.
Mr. Jones, I've made my decision and stated the reasons for it.
Okay, I just can't afford both. That's what I was saying.
All right, so February 7th at 8:15. That's the next time you need to log in, Mr. Jones.
Thank you, Your Honor.
I'm gonna be going back to jail. I can't afford this.
All right, Ms. Hennigan, I'm bringing Mr. Kennedy in right now. Ms. Underwood, Mr. Verlinde is here in the courtroom in person. Do you need a breakout session with him?
Your Honor, I will, well, actually, if you could send Mr. Verlinde downstairs, I will talk to him.
All right, so Mr. Verlinde, if you want to go downstairs to the first floor, she'll probably meet you in the lobby there. Mr. Kennedy, are you able to hear me?
Yes.
All right, let's send your request to start your video so that we can see. All right.
Okay.
Okay, we are on the record in files 23-21426-FH, 23-21427-FH, and I'm sorry, that's also 23-21427-FH. People versus Daniel Martez Kennedy. We are here today for a pretrial hearing, and we are proceeding today by video conference. First, let me ask the attorneys to place their appearance on the record, beginning with Ms. McClure for the people.
B.B. McClure on behalf of the people.
Tamara Hennigan on behalf of Mr. Kennedy.
All right, and Ms. Hennigan, where do we stand with Mr. Kennedy's cases today?
Thank you, Your Honor. My clients had opportunity to review the most recent plea offer from the prosecutor's office. We have discussed that plea offer will expire on December 24th. And at this time, my client has decided that he would like to set all cases for trial.
All right, so are both files being tried together, or are they, do we need separate trials?
Your Honor, I would ask for a separate trial on the case. Sorry, I'm looking for the one that occurred on 7/5/23.
Judge, one occurred while he was out on bond for the other, so that would be separately. These are Mr. Sneed's cases, so I will leave it up to him to file a motion to consolidate. At this point, we would need 3 separate trials.
All right, so the lowest case number is the one ending 426. That's one count of resisting and obstructing. Any sense of how long you need for that trial?
That trial, Your Honor, probably a half day.
All right, Ms. Clark, can we have a one-day jury trial date, please?
Thursday, March 14th.
That would work for the people.
Your Honor, I am not available that day. I'm out. Well, yeah, I'm not available. I'm out of the country that week.
Tuesday, March 19th.
I can do that.
That works, Judge.
So March 19th, we'll set a final pretrial for March 13th at 8:15 a.m. And what I'm going to do is all right, well, the 427 case, Ms. McClure, how long do you think the people need for a trial in that case?
I would defer to Ms. Hennigan just because I don't know the intricacies of that case either.
Your Honor, on the 427 case, I'll be filing a motion prior to trial, a motion to dismiss these charges. So we may not make it to trial. Guess we'll just see what happens. But
so do we want to set that for maybe a pretrial on that final pretrial date for the other one and try and get a motion hearing before then?
I think that's a great idea. Then we may be able to.
And then we're not taking up a trial date.
Okay, so let's set the both of the other two cases, the 23-21427 case and 23-21578 case for a pretrial on March 13th. And we need trial dates for those files at that time. We will set those then.
Thank you.
Ms. Hennigan, would you do stipulation orders for adjournment in the two cases that are not being set for trial?
426 is set for trial, correct, Your Honor?
Yes.
Yep. 426 is the one set for trial. 427 and 578 are the ones not set for trial. Those are the ones I would need you to do a stip and order on.
Okay. Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Anything else we need to address with these cases today?
No, thank you, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Kennedy, you can go ahead and log out then.
All right.
Mr. Daly, do you need a breakout session with Mr. Rohrback?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. We are on the record then in file 23-21643-FH People versus Bradley Dale Roack. We are here for an arraignment in that file, and we are proceeding today by video conference. First, let me ask the attorneys to place their appearances on the record, beginning with Ms. McClure.
Phoebe McClure on behalf of the people.
James Daly on behalf of the That's it.
All right, and this is an arraignment, so Mr. Daly, does Mr. Rohrbach wish to have the information read?
No, we would waive the reading of the information. I would advise the court that a plea bargain has been entered into between Mr. Sneed and myself, that Mr. Rohrbach pleads guilty to home invasion, second degree, and agrees to do 1 year in the Lenawee County Jail. All the remaining charges will be dismissed. Now, if Mr. Sneed's not around to take care of that today, I can do it next week. It doesn't matter.
All right, Ms. McClure, do you have that information from Mr. Sneed? Are we able to do that today, or?
Let me take a look. I'm sorry. It looks like he prepared maybe a plea agreement. Let me take a look at what it says. Sorry. Mr. Daly, can you state the plea agreement one more time?
Pleads guilty to home invasion, second degree, agrees to do 1 year in the Lenawee County Jail. And that is a complete resolution of the matter.
So I do have that in a plea agreement, but it's not signed by Mr. Sneed. And I don't know if he prepared an amended information or not, adding that charge.
So that home invasion second degree is count 1 on the information.
Oh, okay. He wrote it down as an added count 4. I don't know. Oh, because it's an attempted home invasion second degree.
Okay, gotcha. All right.
So do we want to do a week just to get him time to sign that plea agreement and to do the amended? Or do you want, I can work on it this morning too, Judge. It's up to you.
Why don't we just set it out a week and take care of it next Wednesday?
Okay.
So we'll set it over to December 27th at 8:15. Mr. Daly, would you be willing to do a stip in order for that adjournment?
I will, Your Honor.
Okay. All right. Thanks then, Mr. Rohrbach. You can let the officer that's with you know that you're done with court for today.
Okay, thank you, guys. Thank you, sir.
All right, Ms. Underwood, are you ready to proceed with Mr. Verlinde?
I am, Your Honor.
Okay, we're on the record in file 23-21604-FH, People versus Kevin Ryan Verlinde. We are here today for
I think there's 2 files, Your Honor, a violation of probation and a.
So it's file 23-21206-FH and file 23-21604-FH. File ending in 206 is set for hearing on a probation violation. File ending in 604 is set for a pretrial hearing. We are proceeding today partially in person, partially by Zoom. First, let me ask the attorneys to place their appearance on the record, beginning with Ms. McClure.
Phoebe McClure on behalf of the people.
Rhonda Underwood on behalf of Mr. Verlinde this morning, Your Honor.
All right, and Ms. Underwood, where do we stand with Mr. Verlinde's cases today?
Your Honor, I have been in contact with Mr. Verlinde and with Ms. Wagner regarding this matter, Your Honor. And I do think we're going to come to a resolution. But what I would ask is for one more pretrial, perhaps mid-January, Your Honor, if that's available. Or.
Okay, Ms. McClure, anything we need to address from the people's side?
Nothing to add on behalf of the people.
And I would also like to be heard on the tether provision, Your Honor.
Sorry, you were asking for mid-January?
Yes.
Let's go with January 17th.
Thank you, Your Honor.
At 8:15 a.m. what is it you'd like to say about bond, Ms. Underwood?
And I will do the stip in order on that with Ms. McClure's permission.
No objection.
Your Honor, Mr. Verlinde, I think every time on this case has been here downstairs in court early. He's demonstrated that he is appearing and taking these matters very seriously. And I think we're coming up with a resolution that Mr. Verlinde is interested in taking, Your Honor. He's not interested in not appearing for this case, but not only is the tether a physical problem with his construction work, Your Honor, it also is a huge economic problem. We would ask the court consider aborting the tether provision at this time, Your Honor. I think Mr. Verlinde would have no problem perhaps reporting to Mr. Coast on whatever schedule he would feel comfortable, or his probation officer.
Ms. McClure, people wish to say anything with respect to the issue of bond?
I think that was ordered, Judge, because of a violation of his bond conditions, but I'll leave it in the court's discretion.
Okay, so this is a case where there was a probation violation, alleged probation violation. Failure to report back in July. There was failure to appear at a hearing on that probation violation, and the new file is an allegation of failure to comply with reporting duties. I understand that the tether is an inconvenience, but that is, I think at this point, what is required in order for the court to be satisfied that there isn't going to be a public safety concern with respect to Mr. Verlinde's location, because I just think that that's what's necessary.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. Anything else we need to address today?
Nothing else, Your Honor. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Underwood, I think Mr. Davis is here for you.
I'm sorry.
Mr. Davis is right behind you. He's you have him today?
I don't think so.
That's Mr. Malaro, I'm sorry. And Mr. Malaro. You've got who's the other person?
I know I have Mr. Johnson, Your Honor.
Mr. Girth is here for a PPO violation.
Okay,
He's right behind you in the camouflage.
I'll just go up.
Okay.
Look, Judge Whiskers, could we, hi there, could we have Bobby Brown in a room for the judge, please? Yeah.
All right, sir, can you hear me now?
Yeah,
Okay, and what is your name?
William Webb.
Okay, 1 second, Mr. Webb. Are you here for Mr. Webb, Mr. Glazier?
Yes, I am, Your Honor.
Do you need a breakout session with him?
Actually not, Your Honor.
I kind of wanted one.
Well, I can speak with him. I just talked to him last week, but I can talk to him again. That's
Okay.
fine.
Give me 1 second, Mr. Webb, and I will put you in a breakout session with Mr. Glazier.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay, Ms. Underwood, are you ready to proceed with Mr. Girth?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, we are on the record in file 22-50107-PP, Cassie Ann Parker versus Zachary Kyle Girth. We're here today for a hearing on alleged PPO violation. We are proceeding today partially, well, I guess we're in person. Ms. Underwood, do you want to place your appearance on the record?
Ron Underwood for Mr. Girth this morning, Your Honor.
All right, and where do we stand with?
Your Honor, we're still investigating, and I'm not sure the protected party is interested in proceeding with this. I would ask for a short adjournment till perhaps the beginning of January, so I can send my investigator out and see where we are on this, Your Honor.
Sorry, you're Ms. Parker. Can you want to come forward and sit at the table here closest to the jury box? And you are Cassie Ann Parker?
Casey Ann Parker.
Casey, I'm sorry.
Yep.
Ms. Parker, do you have any objection to adjourning this hearing for a couple weeks?
No.
Okay. Let's adjourn it then to January 17th at 8:50. Okay.
Your Honor, is, I believe since there's a or a person on the, am I correct that there are not prosecutors on these issues?
They. So this started with Mr. Girth being arrested by a police officer who allegedly witnessed the violation. I don't know what
Right.
prosecutor's office policy is on appearance of those.
I don't believe Ms. Girth or Ms., I apologize. I don't believe, she's here, Your Honor, and I don't believe she wishes to proceed with this matter.
All right, is that accurate, Ms. Park?
Yes. And I believe that it was going to expire in 5 days, Your Honor. I believe my client was mistaken on the day.
Yeah, so Ms. Parker, you have no objection then, or you are in agreement with dismissing this alleged violation against Mr. Girth. Is that accurate?
Yes.
All right. All right, then I will dismiss the alleged violation based on the request of the petitioner.
Thank you. I'm going to go down and get on my computer, Your Honor.
Okay, Mr. Brown is in the jail room right now, so he's ready to speak. Okay. Okay, Mr. Glazer, are you ready to proceed then with Mr. Webb?
I am, Your Honor. I apologize. All I have is the complaint. I don't have the information in front of me, Your Honor. I'm wondering if you could take a look at that and see at the witnesses, the prosecutors intending to call if they're trying to list a confidential informant.
There is on the witness list that is filed with the court a confidential informant that is listed.
I guess we would like, we're ready to set it for a trial or for another pretrial or whatever, but we need to have the name of that confidential informant. I don't think they can just list a confidential informant.
But where does the court see that? Because in the documents I have, it has names listed. Unless I'm looking in the wrong file, but is it Andrew Watt?
Yeah, so I've got a witness list that was filed on October 23rd.
Is this Andrew Watts, Judge?
This is William Webb.
William Webb.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was looking at the wrong file.
Yeah, I'm not Andrew Watt.
I can let Miss Arnold know that defense is requesting that. I don't know if she'll request that it be done by motion or if she'll just release it. I can let her know. Or Mr. Glazer, if you want to call her on that issue.
I'd rather you pass it on to her. That I need that. And if she's going to object to it, we'll have to file a motion or whatever she wants to do.
Okay. Do you want to just call her on that or no?
Your Honor, no, I don't want to just.
Can we stop for a moment? Because I haven't even called the case yet. So let me just do that. We're on the record in file 23-21580-FH, People versus William B. Webb. We are here today for a pretrial conference. In this case, we are proceeding today by video conference. First, let me have the attorneys place their appearance on the record, beginning with Ms. McClure.
B.B. McClure on behalf of the people, filling in for prosecutor of record Allison Arnold.
John Glazer on behalf of Mr. Webb.
All right, and so we have been addressing an issue with respect to the witness list. Mr. Glazer, what further did you want to say about that?
Your Honor, I would ask that the prosecutors provide me the name of this confidential informant. If he's going to be called at trial, I have to know who he is in order to prepare.
All right, Ms. Muir, anything further that the people want to say with respect to that issue?
I can speak with Miss Arnold about it, that's all.
All right, otherwise, Mr. Glazer, what do you want to do at this point? Do you want to set it for trial? Or do you want to set it for another pretrial?
I guess I'd ask for a pretrial within the next couple of weeks so I can get that name. I'm not ready to set it for trial until I get that name. If not, I'm gonna ask to remand it back and do an exam.
All right, let's set it for a pretrial next week on December 27th at 8:15 and see if we can get that issue resolved in the meantime.
Judge, I have an issue with bond conditions for Mr. Webb there. I submitted a letter for you.
Give me just a second.
So is this 12/27 that you adjourned it to, Judge?
Correct. Okay, so I did receive a letter from Mr. Coast indicating that he's been unable to be in contact with Mr. Webb.
Still in treatment.
I think he's an inpatient program.
Okay.
Yeah, William, I actually called Lighthouse. They couldn't verify if you were there or not.
I'm in their intensive outpatient in another city. I'm in my counselor's office right now.
Make sure you sign a release with them, which will allow them permission to interact with me. Reference your
Okay,
case.
that's fine. Still clean.
So yeah, so the issue right now, Mr. Webb, is that they can't even tell Mr. Coast whether you were there or not. So you need to sign a release just so Mr. Coast can call them and know whether you're, just to make sure that you're there.
Well, Your Honor, it's through the same company. It's the same people. It's just it's just a different part of the program, and I've already signed that release, so they should have no problem giving them that information because it's the same
Right,
company.
so I understand that, but the reality is Mr. Coast has called them and they will not give him information.
Because he called the wrong building, but I'll just redo it. I'll call Mr. Coast's office. I'm not trying to be difficult or anything, so I'll get it figured out today, Your Honor.
Thank you.
All right, so we'll see everyone back a week from today, December 27th at 8:15.
All right. Thank you, Your Honor.
Mr. Glazer, would you prepare that stip-in order, please?
Yeah, I can do that.
And then we have Wes McCormick here. Do you need a breakout session with Mr. McCormick?
If I could for a second, Your Honor.
Okay, Ms. Underwood, do you need a breakout session with Mr. Brown?
Yes, please, Your Honor.
So what day again did you say? December 27th, when?
December 27th at 8:15.
Okay. All right. John, I'll call your office.
That's fine.
And see if you heard anything beforehand.
You're breaking up. Just give me a call.
Yeah, I said you guys have a good holiday. I'll talk to you. I'll call you after Christmas. I'll call you on the 26th or something.
You can go ahead and log out, Mr. Webb.
Trying to. I don't know how to do this. I'm new to this stuff, so.
Okay, I can do it from my side. Mr. Glazer, you ready to proceed with Mr. McCormick?
Is not Miss Muir, Miss McClure handling this? For Chris?
Yes, just for arraignment purposes. Mr. Fleming's out sick today.
Okay, yeah, I need to speak with Mr. Fleming. So yeah, we're ready to proceed, Your Honor.
Okay, we are on the record in file 23-21647-FH, People versus Wesley Allen McCormick. We are here today for a hearing for an arraignment in this case, and we are proceeding today by video conference. First, let me ask the attorneys to place their appearance on the record, beginning with Ms. McClure.
B.B. McClure on behalf of the people.
John Glazer on behalf of Mr. McCormick.
All right, and Mr. McCormick is here by video conference as well. Sir, you are Wesley Allen McCormick?
Correct.
All right, Mr. Glazer, does Mr. McCormick wish to have the information read?
Your Honor, we'd waive the reading of the information, acknowledge receipt of that as well as attached witness list prosecutor's request for discovery. This time he'll enter plea not guilty, estimated to be set for pretrial.
Not guilty plea for Mr. McCormick, and we'll set this for a pretrial on January 24th at 8:15 a.m. if that date works for everybody.
That's fine with me, Your Honor.
That works, Judge.
Yes.
So January 24th at 8:15, Mr. McCormick, you'll log back in using all the same Zoom information that you used to log in today.
Okay, sounds good, Your Honor. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you, Your Honor. I think that's all I have with you this morning.
Okay, yeah, I think it is, Mr. Glazer. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Am I good to go then?
Yep.
Yes, sir, you can log out.
All right. Thank you, Your Honor. Have a good day.
Okay, Ms. Underwood, are you ready to proceed with Mr. Brown?
I am, Your Honor. Thank you.
Okay, we are on the record in file 23-21572-FH and 23-21573-FH, People versus Bobby Jean Brown III. We are here today for a pretrial hearing as well as a pretrial and contempt of court for failure to appear on December 13th of 2023 in both of those cases. We are proceeding today by video conference. First, let me ask the attorneys to place their appearances on the record, beginning with Ms. McClure.
B.B. McClure on behalf of the people.
Rhonda Underwood on behalf of Mr. Brown, Your Honor.
Okay, and Ms. Underwood, where do we stand with Mr. Brown's case today?
Your Honor, Mr. Brown has some matters in district court that he's dealing with. We would ask for an adjournment till January 7th, which I think would be an auspicious time for these matters to come to resolution, Your Honor. I think at that point, all matters would be in the same place, so. Okay? The 7th.
January 7th is not a Wednesday, that's.
Oh, I'm sorry, what's the Wednesday, Your Honor?
The Wednesday that week would be the 10th.
Okay, that would be fine.
All right, so we'll adjourn those to January 10th at 8:15. Ms. Underwood, would you do that stip in order?
With Ms. McClure's permission.
No objection.
Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Brown, you can let the officer that's with you know that you are done with court for today.
Yes, sir.
Your Honor, do we have Mr. Watts from the NBA DOC today?
I have not seen him logged in at any point. Give me just a second here. Do you want to call for Ashley B? And Mr. Johnson had been logged in earlier. He's not logged in now.
Oh,
He was in the waiting room, but he has
Hello, it's
disappeared.
Colleen. Could we have Ashley Bean in a room?
wish
for
I,
the judge, please? Bean.
wish I would have
Bean.
known. We could have gotten to him sooner.
Well, we didn't have,
Thank you. Right.
we did not
Ms.
have. Ms.
Brenner's in
Brenner.
the other courtroom. Okay.
I need to have everybody in this courtroom in order to do the hearing, so
Yeah.
it's a little bit like herding cats, so. Mr. Davis, I had Mr. Malero here earlier. I sent him a chat message and he said he was coming over to the courthouse in person, so. Morning, Mr. Hartog.
Morning, I was looking to see you have on TV this morning.
So I have, right now, just Ms. Underwood and Ms. McClure.
Have you seen John Glazer this morning?
I have. He just wrapped up his last case with me here, so.
Thank you very
if you're
much.
expecting him over there, he should be there any minute.
I was going to ask you for a bench warrant for him.
So the MDOC is supposed to be logging in with Mr. Watt. They sent an email that they were unable to accommodate us at 8:15.
Okay. Ms. Underwood, we got communication from MDOC that they will log in with Mr. Watts at 10 a.m.
All right, Your Honor.
Okay, Miss, you are Ashley Nicole Bean. I was not able to hear what you said.
Yes, can you hear me now?
It's a little better. I think you just need to sit closer to that device.
Okay, yes.
Yeah, that works. Okay. We are on the record in file 23-21399-FH People versus Ashley Nicole Bean. We are here today for a hearing on a request and summons for probation violation. And we are proceeding today by video conference. Again, for the record, Miss, you are Ashley Nicole Bean.
Yes, I have a question. Is this a second probation violation?
Let me just ask you, I've got to ask you a couple questions procedurally to make sure that you understand what your rights are, and we'll get to that. Ms. Beams, have you received a copy of the request and summons for probation violation?
No.
All right, we will scan this and send it over to the jail for them to bring you a copy. And if you give me a moment, I should be able to put it up on the screen to look at. Okay, Ms. Bean, I'm putting that up on the screen right now so you can see it. There is a second page, so if you let me know when you're done reading what you can see on your screen there, I'll scroll down.
Dropping dirty. The violation for dropping dirty.
Okay, yeah, so the warrant alleges that you violated the terms of your probation on November 4th by not reporting to your probation officer on that date or at any time since. Do you understand that? I'm sorry, if you answered Ms. Bean, the microphone didn't catch you.
Yes, sir.
Okay. You had, in this case, originally pled guilty to possession of methamphetamine, and the maximum possible penalty for that offense is up to 10 years in prison. Do you understand that?
Sir.
I'm sorry, I didn't catch you again. Was that a yes?
Yes, sir.
Okay. You are entitled to have an attorney represent you here today and at any other proceedings that we might have on this matter. If you can't afford an attorney, you can tell me that now and I'll appoint one for you at public expense. Do you understand that?
Sir.
Okay, again, the microphone's not catching. I need you to stay closer to it, please.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. Do you have the ability to afford your own attorney?
No.
Okay, I'm going to appoint the public defender's office. I'll put you in a breakout session with Ms. Underwood from the public defender's office right now so that you can speak to her privately.
Your Honor, when was Ashley picked up?
I don't know why she is at the jail. This was a request and summons for probation violation. So she is apparently there for some other reason.
Okay.
All right, we have Ms. Underwood and Ms. Beam back from the breakout session. Ms. Underwood, do you know how Ms. Beam would like to proceed today?
Your Honor, she is going to accept responsibility and plead guilty to the violation.
Ms. Beam, would you raise your right hand, please? It looks like you're left-handed to me. I think you need your. All right, so, and again, I need to have you sit as close to the device as you can so that the microphone picks up your voice. Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth under penalty for perjury?
Yes, sir.
Do you understand that you have a right to contest this violation of probation charge and have a trial on it?
Yes, sir.
Do you understand that throughout the trial, you'd be presumed innocent until your guilt is proven by a preponderance of evidence?
Yes, sir.
You have a right to have all the witnesses against you appear at your trial, and you have the right to have the court order any witnesses that you have for your defense to appear at your trial. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
You also have the right to ask any of the witnesses any questions, or your lawyer could ask those witnesses questions while they are under oath at your trial. Do you understand that as well?
Yes, sir.
You're not required to testify at trial, and no one can say anything about you not testifying or hold that against you in any way. Do you understand that?
Yes.
On the other hand, you also have the right to testify if you wanted to testify. Do you understand that as well?
Yes.
How do you plead to the charge that you violated your probation by failing to report?
Guilty.
Do you understand that by pleading guilty, you're giving up your right to a trial and your right to have your lawyer's assistance at that trial, as I've already explained?
Yes.
Sorry, I couldn't hear you.
Yes.
Has anything been promised to you in order to get you plead guilty today?
No.
Has anyone threatened you in any way in order to get you to plead guilty?
No.
If I accept your plea, you'll be giving up any and all claims that your plea was given as a result of threats or promises that were not disclosed to the court on the record this morning, or that it was not your own choice to enter the plea. Do you understand that?
Yes.
Is it your own choice to plead guilty today?
Yes.
So you were placed on probation back in October of 2023. Is that correct? Sorry, I didn't hear you.
Yes.
And one of the requirements of your probation is that you report to your probation officer as instructed. Is that correct?
Yes.
And were you instructed to report on November 4th, 2023?
Yep. Sorry. Yes.
Did you fail to report on that date to Ms. Teskey?
Yes.
All right. I will accept the plea then. It's been given understandably, voluntarily, and accurately. Ms. Bean has had full knowledge of her rights. She's had competent counsel. I will refer the matter to the probation department for a update of your pre-sentence investigation report and set sentencing. Or let's go with January 28th at 8:15 a.m.
Or, I'm sorry, what date?
I think December 28th at 8:15 a.m.
Thank you, Your Honor. May I be heard as to the issue of bond?
Your Honor,
Yeah, I'm sorry.
due to the holidays, I don't know that I'll be able to prepare a report that quickly. Is there any way that we could push that out one more week?
Okay.
Your Honor, this is a technical violation, and now it's going to be an extra week. I would ask.
I'm sorry to interrupt, Ms. Underwood, but this was a request and summons for probation violation, so she is not at the jail as a result of this. I don't know why she is at the jail, but she's not being held on this file.
Okay.
But Miss Beam, if you get out of jail, you have to contact me ASAP. That's the problem.
Okay. I don't get out till February something anyway, so.
Oh, okay.
So Ms. Beam, you are there until February?
Yes. Yep.
Well, then
All right.
Maybe we should have a bond.
Well, she's not held on this. I don't have any, there's no bond for me to give her. If whatever is resolved on other cases resolves, she leaves. That's not this case that's holding.
Thank you.
So I will then set the sentencing we'll set that out another week to January 5th at 8:15.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.
So Ms. Bean, Ms. Teskey is going to be in touch with you to do a pre-sentence investigation update. When you do that interview with her, please be truthful about the offense and about your background.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you. You're all set then. You're done with court for today.
Thanks, Your Honor.
Okay, Mr. Malero, are you ready to proceed with Mr. Davis?
Yes, we are.
Okay, we are on the record in file 23-21504-FH People versus Ryan Edward Davis. We are here today for a pretrial conference in this case. We are proceeding today by video conference. See, Ms. Wagner, are you able to appear on this one?
Sure, I can, Your Honor.
All right, you want to place your appearance on the record?
Amanda Wagner for the People.
Torres Malero on behalf of Ryan Davis.
And I apologize, we have two files here, so
It might be three, Judge. Personal protection order violation.
what is the name of the petitioner in that?
What's her name?
Sarah.
What's her name?
Sarah Seaberger.
Seaberger? I don't have that.
Okay.
I don't have that on the docket.
Okay, that's fine, Judge.
So for purposes of today's docket, I just have the 21504 case and the 21505 case.
Oh, that's fine, Judge.
Okay, so and those are set for pre-trials today. Mr. Malero, where do we stand with these cases for Mr. Davis then?
Your Honor, I'm going to ask to adjourn this out for a brief adjournment. There has been an offer conveyed by Ms. McClure that I have not been able to fully review with Mr. Davis. Also, my recollection is that on the PPO case, which I think involves the same parties, I think Mr. Davis came in late, was late for an appearance, the note said, and that was adjourned out, but I thought it was adjourned to today, but it's adjourned to January?
Let me just look it up.
So then if we could adjourn these cases to that date, maybe we can resolve everything. And I'd say resolution's highly likely.
I'm sorry, did Mr. Davis know that date that for the PPO?
January 22nd at 8 a.m.
January 22nd, that's actually a Monday.
Well, Judge, I anticipate a plea, so I mean, that'd be fine if it's okay with court.
All right, so Ms. McClure, have you stepped in now on this one?
Yeah, this is my case. I apologize, Judge. I am available the 22nd, but I understand if the court's not. But I'll make a reminder if you want to set it for that date.
Okay, so the PPO is set for January 22nd at 9:30 a.m. And so we can set these for that date as well. And if there's, just handle everything at one time, if that works for everybody.
Okay.
Okay, so January 22nd at 9:30 a.m. We'll adjourn it to that date. Mr. Mayor, would you be willing to do a stiff order?
Yes, Judge.
Okay, anything else we need to address with this case today?
No, Your Honor.
No,
All
thank
right.
you.
Okay, thank you for your time, and Mr. Davis, you are free to go.
Thank you, Your Honor. Have a good day.
Ms. Underwood, do you need to speak with Mr. Watts?
I do, Your Honor. Thank you.
And Mr. Malero, are you ready to proceed with Mr. Pulsifer?
I am.
Okay, we are on the record in file 23-21493-FH and 23-21494-FH. People versus Michael Clifford Pulsifer. We are here today for pretrial hearings in both of those cases, and we are proceeding today by video conference. First, let me ask the attorneys to place their appearance on the record, beginning with Ms. Wagner.
Thank you, Judge. Amanda Wagner for the people.
Salvatore Malero on behalf of Michael Pulsifer.
All right, and Mr. Malero, where do we stand with Mr. Pulsifer's case today?
Your Honor, I'd ask for an additional adjournment on this matter. Still trying to see if we can solve put a resolution together. The bond violation hearing we had, I think it was last week, I focused on that instead of trying to get this worked out. And so that's the basis for my request. It's my understanding Mr. Pulsifer is continuing to test, and you've been clean since the bond hearing. And you're in compliance with what the court ordered? Yes. Okay.
All right, Ms. Wagner, anything we need to address from the people's side?
No, Your Honor, no objection to the adjournment. I suppose that we have had a plea offer in since mid-August, and the plea offer remains. So I hope that we'll be able to move forward pretty quickly on this one.
All right, I'll set it for January 17th at 8:15 a.m. I would note these cases are becoming aged. They were bound over in August, so Mr. Malero, that would be the last pretrial. I'm going to set it for trial at the next one. Resolution.
Understood, Your Honor.
Okay. All right, anything else we need to address with these cases?
No, Your Honor.
Steps in order, Judge, nothing.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, Judge.
Right. Okay, we are on the record in file 23-21559-FH. People versus Andrew Darnell Watts. We are here today for a pretrial conference in this case, and we're proceeding today by video conference. First, let me ask the attorneys to place their appearances on the record. Ms. Wagner or Ms. McClure, there we go. Ms.
Phoebe,
McClure.
yep, sorry, Phoebe McClure on behalf of the people.
Rhonda Underwood on behalf of Mr. Watts this morning, Your Honor.
All right, and Mr. Watts is here by video conference from a MDOC facility. Ms. Underwood, where do we stand with Mr. Watts' case today?
At this time, Your Honor, Mr. Watts is going to accept the offer of the prosecution and plead guilty as charged with the supplements being dismissed, Your Honor.
Okay. Mr. Watts, would you raise your right hand, please? Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth under penalty for perjury?
Yes, sir.
And you are Andrew Darnell Watts?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Watts, you've heard the statement of your attorney and the prosecuting attorney. Is it your intention to plead guilty today to count 1, assault of a prison employee?
Yes, sir.
You understand that the maximum possible penalty for that offense is up to 5 years in prison?
Yes, sir.
Are you satisfied with Ms. Underwood and the advice that she's given you?
Yes.
Neither the prosecutor, defendant, or anyone acting on the defendant's behalf has discussed a possible sentence with the court. Is that correct, Ms. McClure?
That is correct.
That is correct, Your Honor.
Is that also your understanding, Mr. Watts?
Yes, sir.
If a guilty plea is accepted, there'll be no trial. That means you'll be giving up the rights that you would have had at trial. I'm going to explain those rights to you now to make sure that you understand them. You do have the right to a speedy public trial by jury. You could ask for a non-jury trial, and if the prosecutor and the court agreed, you could have a non-jury trial. You have the right to be presumed innocent until proven guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. You have the right to have the prosecuting attorney prove beyond a reasonable doubt that you are guilty, and you do not have to prove anything. You have the right to be present at trial and to have the witnesses against you appear at your trial and to ask those witnesses questions. You have the right to have the court order any witnesses that you have for your defense to appear at your trial. You have the right to remain silent during your trial and not have that silence used against you. However, you also have the right to testify at your trial if you wanted to testify. Do you understand, Mr. Watts, that if your plea is accepted, you may be giving up the right to appeal issues that would otherwise be appealable if you were convicted at a trial?
Yes, sir.
Do you also understand that any appeal from the conviction and sentence pursuant to this plea would be by application for leave to appeal and not by right?
Yes, sir.
If you are not a citizen of the United States of America, conviction of a crime can result in deportation, exclusion from admission to the United States of America, or denial of naturalization. Do you understand all of the rights that I've described to you?
Yes, sir.
And do you understand that you're giving those rights up?
Yes, sir.
How do you wish to plead to the charge that on or about July 14, 2023 in Madison Township, Lenawee County, Michigan, that you did commit the offense of assault of a prison employee?
Guilty.
Has anyone made any threats or promises to you to induce you to plead guilty to that charge?
No.
Do you understand that if I accept your plea, you'll be giving up any and all claims that your plea was given as a result of threats or promises that were not disclosed to the court on the record here this morning, or that it was not your own choice to enter that plea?
Yes.
Is the prosecutor or defense counsel aware of any promises, threats, or inducements other than the plea bargain to induce Mr. Watts to plead guilty?
None, Your Honor.
None, Your Honor.
Mr. Watts, has your attorney promised you any particular sentence or estimated what your sentence would be?
No.
Is it your own choice to plead guilty today, Mr. Watts?
Yes, sir.
Ms. Underwood, would you like to establish the factual basis?
Thank you, Your Honor. Mr. Watts, on July 14th, 2023, were you a prisoner at the Gus Harrison facility located in Madison Township, County of Lenawee, State of Michigan?
Yes.
And you were in that facility lawfully as a prisoner?
Yes.
And at that time, did you assault prison counselor Jacob DeRock by striking him in the head and face area with a clenched fist?
Yes.
And you were not defending yourself in any way. You had no permission to assault prison counselor DeRock.
Correct.
And you understand that he was a prison employee at work at the time.
Yes.
And furthermore, Mr. Watts, you understand in terms of a sentence on this, you are never getting out of prison, correct?
Correct.
Thank you. I believe the facts are sufficient, Your Honor.
Satisfied, Judge.
All right. Has the court complied with MCR 6.302 B, C, and D, Ms. Muir?
It has.
It has, Your Honor.
All right, I will accept the plea then. It's been given understandably, voluntarily, and accurately. Mr. Watts has had full knowledge of his rights and he has had competent counsel. I will refer this matter to the probation department for a pre-sentence investigation and set sentencing for January 25th at 8:15 a.m.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Mr. Watts, someone from the probation department is going to be in touch with you to do a pre-sentence investigation interview. When you do that interview, please be truthful about this offense and your background.
Okay.
All right, we need fingerprints for the sentencing to occur. So Ms. McClure, we're going to need an in-person writ for Mr. Watts so that we can get his fingerprints taken on the day of sentencing.
Okay, I'll make note of that.
Okay, thank you very much. All right, we are all set then. Mr. Watts, you can let the officer that's with you know that you are done with court. Okay, Mr. Murphy, I did check your note on Ms. Johnson, and I'm bringing her in now. It does look like that case has been dismissed.
Yeah, I didn't know if there was a contempt or something that was outstanding. There's not, or anything like that.
No, I don't have anything else. I think we just had this set for a pretrial, and in the meantime, the Nolly Pross got filed, and
okay.
Looks like we're all set. So Ms. Johnson is here. Her audio is not connected. So if she gets her audio connected, I'll just let her know.
Thank you, Your Honor.
And then you also had Mr. Bordner.
Yes, Your Honor.
Oh, I could not get this to work.
Oh, Ms. Johnson, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. I am so sorry. I couldn't get my thing to connect.
That's okay. Your case has been dismissed, so you can just go ahead and log out. There's nothing further to do.
Wow. Okay. Thank you so much.
Yep, Ms. Johnson, if you have any questions, call my office, okay?
Okay, absolutely. Thank you so much.
Yep, thank you, Ms. Johnson. You have a good day.
Yep, you too.
I thought he was in custody.
Okay, so Mr. Bordner is not logged in. If you want to try to contact him, Mr. Murphy.
Yeah, I apologize, Your Honor. I thought he was in custody. So I'll try to reach him.
Okay, and then Ms. Underwood, Ms. Brenner, so we can go on the record for Gregory Johnson. All right, so we're on the record in file 21-20333-FH, People versus Gregory Ernest Johnson. We are here today, I think,
for sentencing, Judge.
Sentencing hearing this morning. Lost my docket. So we're here for a sentencing hearing this morning. We are proceeding today by video. First, let me ask the attorneys to place their appearances on the record, beginning with Ms. Brenner.
Sarah Brenner, Assistant Attorney General for the People, Your Honor.
Rhonda, I'm doing for Mr. Johnson this morning, Your Honor.
All right, the record should reflect that this matter was originally set for hearing at 8:15 this morning. Mr. Johnson was logged in and in the Zoom waiting room at 8:15, promptly at 8:15, actually. And it is now 10:19, and Mr. Johnson is no longer in the Zoom waiting room. I do
Your Honor,
have Ms. Underwood. I did get a chat message from Ms. Brenner. I guess Ms. Underwood has some additional information about Mr. Johnson.
I apologize, Your Honor. According to my assistant, Mr. Johnson was on his way to the hospital, Your Honor. I know he sent me a very long email yesterday regarding surgery he had scheduled for today. So I first of all, I'm thrilled that he was here at 8 o'clock, and I have no knowledge as to his whereabouts now, other than he told my assistant that he was on his way to the hospital.
Your Honor, I'm going to request a bench warrant. I think this is more games by Mr. Johnson. Unless he sends some documentation to his counsel that he is in the hospital, he could have notified her and the court that he had surgery scheduled before the night before court. He has not been making his child support payments. I'd be requesting a bench warrant, and then when this matter is rescheduled, if we get him in custody, I'd want him in person for sentencing.
Your Honor, I will try to get documentation of this just as soon as I can. I obviously don't know. I can convey a copy of the letter, the email, to the court. I would say if we could maybe even put it over a week or two. He was here on time this morning.
So he was logged in at 8:15, so he did make some attempt to be here, and he did. Can't say what time he logged out, but I do know he was there for a period of time before logging out. So he did make some kind of attempt to be here today. I am going to based on that, I'm going to adjourn this to, I need to put it, I think, on an actual sentencing date and not on a Wednesday morning. So I'm going to put it, set it for January 25th at 8:15 a.m.
Thank you so much, Your Honor. And we will get all documentation to you and stress to Mr. Johnson to be on time on the 25th.
Can we have him there in person on the 25th, Judge? We've had problems with his video in the past and just problem after problem with him. So I'm requesting he be in person.
I do think, actually, I think this was, if I recall correctly, let me find it on my docket. Yeah, so I actually had this noted on my docket for an in-person sentencing today, and I know we have had those issues with Mr. Johnson's video connections in the past. It has never been good, so I am going to require that to be an in-person sentencing hearing.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, so January 25th at 8:15 a.m.
Thank you, Your Honor. I believe that concludes my docket with you today.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so I think the only two we have left are Cody Eichler, who we need Mr. Dagger-Margosian for, and Mr. Bordner, who Mr. Murphy was going to try to contact.
Yep, those are my last two as well. So I just wanted to double check.
Your Honor, I sent you a message about Mr. Bordner. I think we can go on the record on Mr. Bordner.
All right, so we're on the record in file 23-21595-FH and 23-21596-FH, People versus Chad Michael Bordner. We are here today for pretrial hearings in both of those cases. We are proceeding today by video conference. First, let me ask the attorneys to place their appearance on the record, beginning with Ms. McClure.
Phoebe McClure on behalf of the people.
Matthew Murphy, appearing on behalf of Mr. Bordner.
Okay, and so Mr. Murphy, it's my understanding at this point that you believe Mr. Bordner is an inmate with MDOC. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor. He was in custody with the Hillsville County. He was in Hillsville County Jail when we had his examination. As I messaged you, he was looking at a case out there. I recall him saying he was looking at prison time for that. And so, yeah, I checked VineLink, which is the only thing I really know what to do. And it did say that Chad Bordner, date of birth, same date of birth as this Chad Bordner, is in custody. It says currently in custody with MDOC. Michigan Department of Corrections at the Charles Egler Reception and Guidance Center in Jackson, Michigan. So I don't know how the court wants to proceed with it, but it does appear that, you know, he's in custody with MDOC at this point.
And Judge, I can just add to that. We believed him to still be in Hillsdale, so we actually made Zoom arrangements with Hillsdale for today's pretrial. They did confirm that. However, I just checked Otis, and he is in Jackson, MDOC. So we would need a new date to do a Zoom rip through MDOC.
Okay. Let's go with January 17th.
Should my office do a stipulation order for that date, Your Honor?
If you'd be willing to do that, I'd appreciate it. And then Ms. McClure, if you would have the prosecutor's office do the Zoom writ.
We will do that.
I'd appreciate that.
I thank you, Your Honor. We'll get that stipulation order in as soon as possible.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Murphy.
Yep, and that was all that I had. Everyone have a good day and good morning. Thank you.
Thank you, you too.
Judge, I have to go to a case down in district court. Miss Wagner's logged in for Eichler whenever we get Mr. Dagger-Margosian. It's just an arraignment, isn't that right?
Yes.
Okay.
And Mr. Dagger-Margosian, I know, is in trial in Judge Anzelone's court this morning, so I will I'll walk down there and see what's going on.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay, thanks.
Thanks.